Trent Leyshan is the founder and CEO of Australia's #1 sales training company, Boom Sales. Sales expert and fast growth specialist and author of 2 business titles, Outlaw and The Naked Salesman. Not for the Average podcast exposes the secrets to extraordinary performance in sales, entrepreneurship and business growth. Warning, this show is not for the average.
Welcome to Not For The Average. I'm your host, Trent Leyshan. Last week, we explored not for the average wealth creation in shares with Elio D'Amato from Lincoln Indicators. And he shared with us the #1 asset class we should be investing in and also the #1 way to create wealth, which was via running or owning your own business. We're very fortunate today to be joined by Trent Fraser, the CEO of Choice Hotels Asia Pacific. And today, we're going to be digging into what Elio was referring to and specifically into what makes a great business. Welcome, Trent.
Thank you, Trent. Great to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
Awesome to have you. Tell us a little bit about Choice Hotels and what you do.
Sure. So, look, Choice Hotels have got a great history. We've been in business now for some 80 years around the world. Started, conveniently, what we're talking about today, by a family in the US who decided to go into business for themselves and acquire a number of small properties back in the day. We fast forward that today, and that same family group is still a major shareholder, so we're a publicly listed company now in the US with some 7,000 hotels right throughout the world.
Wow.
So they decided way back then and recognised an opportunity to grow and develop a brand and to engage with suppliers and get some group buying opportunities and then add franchisees, add businesses to the group, acquire some brands along the way into the story where we are here today. So in my role today, I head up the Asia Pacific division. So we have some 300 hotels in this region throughout Australia, New Zealand, Japan, India and China. And they are all owned and run independently by entrepreneurial types that have backed themselves to go into business and have a go. So we stay away from the ownership and the management, but we have the opportunity to work with entrepreneurs and provide things that they might not necessarily naturally have, which are the sales, marketing and distribution support services that help them be successful. So,
okay, great. And what you talk about the backing entrepreneurs, so what type of people are they?
Yeah,
typically.
Look, they're an amazing bunch of people, and I think something that we don't talk a lot about or enough about is the eclectic mix of people we have in our group. So we have lifetime hoteliers that have come in, wanted to come out of the corporate environment they've been in and back themselves and own their own property, which is terrific. And we all talk the same language, so that's great, and they're sort of quick into the system and up and running pretty quickly. Others have come out of other industries, retired from other industries, and decided to get into small business and have probably stayed in hotels, so have got some sort of affinity or connection with them. So they've come into our industry, and that's a great opportunity for us not only to show them the ropes and to train them and help them, but we also get learning out of it as well, because they bring experiences and background from other industries that can help challenge us in some of the conventional ways we do things. So I think we've got a really good mix of owners, right from 20 rooms up to 200 rooms, and importantly a great background of owners to sort of go into that boiling pot, that mixing pot if you like, which ultimately makes us all better.
Gotcha. I like it. And what, so think about the hospitality industry, the accommodation industry is hyper competitive.
Sure.
Hyper competitive. So what makes a really successful operator?
I think a successful operator for me is somebody that understands that investing back in their people and also their product is super important.
It's a people business, you say?
It's a people business, mate. It is. And there's a huge link to people and service and expectations. And we see many properties that are very well presented and have been reinvested back into continually, which is great, but perhaps don't live up to that promise of the hard product when it comes to people. So I think the best operators are ones that understand the investment back into the core product they're offering is very important, but also back into their people, reinvesting into those people, educating and training those people, and also for themselves, the entrepreneurs themselves, refusing to get to that stage where they think that they know everything. You know, and understanding that there's always more to learn and to challenge themselves on that growth journey along the way.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's what we would see as the best operators.
Okay, gotcha. And that's the key, is to getting the best out of themselves, is to be, you know, the entrepreneurs typically running their own race.
Correct.
They like to be independent.
Correct.
But so their blind spots can typically be they don't take on advice, they don't seek.
Yeah, look, at times, possibly, or they don't continue to challenge themselves to look at the next trend coming through, or the next distribution opportunity, the next booking pattern, and those sort of things are probably what we continue to encourage them to do. And I guess indeed that's where we come into play as well, is opening them up to those new initiatives and new opportunities out there. I mean, essentially they're all in business, have bought their all own businesses to, you know, to drive choices for them down the line, I suppose, and freedom, and backing themselves to have a go. Freedom. I know that's something that you're a big fan of, and I think that is one of the major drivers, no doubt, within our portfolio.
Because you look at it as an entrepreneur, and they have worked somewhere. They want to run their own race, so to speak. They can't be managed if they're anything like me.
Yeah, sure.
I don't like authority. And then they end up going and starting their own business and realising they've actually just created a job for themselves.
Yes, correct.
You know, and that once the gloss wears off of it being new and exciting, they're in the harsh realities of having to. They own a job.
That's right.
And they're completely accountable for their own success.
That's absolutely true, and I think we see that at times, and I'm sure all franchisees, all small businesses do. I think the challenge there is to keep reinventing themselves as well, you know, and keep challenging and seeing, you know, what the next big thing is, or even within their teams, keep challenging themselves to say, okay, are our team in a comfortable position? That's a nice place to be at times when everyone knows each other and things are going well, but is that the same team that's going to take that business to the next level? And maybe stepping back and saying, you know, do we want that nice, comfortable environment or atmosphere, or is it healthy for the business to have some new energy, new blood, some conflict at times to propel that business forward? So we do see that at times. Indeed, we're challenged with that at times too, and it's something as a leader in my business I'm constantly giving focus to, is have we got the right people in the right positions? It's much like a coach in the football, mate. You know, we've got to make sure that our succession plan is in play. Who are the new young stars coming into the club potentially? Who have we got on the bench? Is everyone playing in the right position? That's essentially what it's all about. So it's constant review.
Who's leading?
As well,
who's leading the charge?
Correct. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And it's I'm running a hotel. I'm doing it myself quite well. How will choice make me more successful?
Yeah, so we look to partner with, as I said earlier, entrepreneurs that are ready to back themselves and have a go, and that have a passion for hospitality and customer service.
So just on that, is it they've taken the business to a point, they want to go to the next level but don't know how, or
perhaps
can't?
Absolutely. So perhaps they're in the business already and they're at that point. Perhaps they're new into the business, they're acquiring a business, so they need the education support from day one. It might be
scale.
New. Exactly, and it's a new business for them. They might have been in another industry, so they need our group to learn the nuances of the industry from. So, but in either scenario, you know, we are really there to support them and their team at the hotel level with the things that they shouldn't really be worrying about. So if they're focused squarely on their customer and that experience of that customer whilst they're in the hotel, which is what it all comes down to. Hotel keeping is all about keeping that guest happy, so they don't think about going anywhere else. So when they walk out your door, they're coming back to you next time.
Yes.
We take care of how you drive those customers into that door in the first place.
Okay.
So it's about distribution, it's about having our brand and our properties where people are looking to shop, and obviously today that's majority of the time online. So we are making sure that we are front and centre when people are thinking about or dreaming about where they're wanting to travel to, that we are there and we have a presence. So we've got a better than fair chance of converting that guest into one of our customers.
Gotcha. Okay, so the core of what you're doing is helping businesses find new customers.
Correct.
Navigating the new world in terms of digital.
That's exactly right. Yes.
Through the murky waters of digitisation and how people find businesses these days. And the ability to also scale.
Correct.
So how there's something here as well around what business are you really in, which is typically service. Is it a service business? So you think about accommodation, hotels, hospitality, and people being at the core of what you're doing. So is it a Is it a service-based?
It's a people business, isn't it? I think
It's a people business, yeah.
And there's a strong service element to it. But whether it's your internal people within your employment in the hotels or the people you're trying to attract and look after as guests when they stay there, I think it's all about people. For us anyway, and that'd be my view. But a strong link into service.
Okay, people. Gordon Ramsay, love him or hate him. Polarising character. He has 3 S's.
Yes.
To building a great business.
Right.
And that is service.
Yes.
1 S. Service, 2nd S.
Right.
And effing service is the 3rd S. Okay.
Yes.
However, he also has, how do you measure the success of a business? And I quite like this, which is the customer's willingness to come back.
Yeah.
Which again comes back to how they're treated, how you make them feel, what you're offering them, thinking outside the square.
Sure.
I do a lot of travelling myself, and I'm just gobsmacked. I can go into a hotel, and I'm charging full whack usually. I'm not 6-star like you, but I might be 4 or 5. But I see, there's a bottle of water there.
Yes.
That's nice of them. Oh, hang on a sec. There's a price tag on it.
Right.
What's going on there? What's the thinking about just extracting as much as you can from the customer instead of trying to think about what are the little things we can do, not for the average things that we can do that can add to that experience. Yeah. Is that something that you work with your franchisees on?
No, look, absolutely agree. I think it's those moments of truth, we call them. What are those moments that can surprise and delight guests when they're coming into your hotel?
A moment of truth.
Yes, that's right.
I like that.
When it's unexpected. And there are just so many simple things in hotels. We can gather so much information about our customers before they even arrive these days.
You can.
Especially if they're returning customers, returning guests. A great story I heard about a hotel in the US, that small boutique hotel that probably had the resources and the time to do this, but they were able to investigate the profiles of their guests coming in and just have some small touch in the room to make them feel at home or make them feel welcome during their stay. Yeah. One particular lady went over there and she stayed there, and they found through one of her public social media accounts that she was a Rolling Stones fan. So on arrival into her room, there was a small frame there with Mick Jagger and a small note from the manager saying, "Hey, welcome to the hotel. We know you're here for a few nights. Hope you feel at home. We know you're a massive Stones fan, so hopefully this photo of Mick Jagger will make you feel like it's your place." So I think things like that, value adds that probably don't cost a lot of money. They might take a little bit of time in terms of labour to investigate and do the homework on, but imagine the impact that can have on people. So I think it's simple things that are more value adds, and using people's names and those sort of things that again
personalisation.
Exactly, making people feel special.
Why don't we do that? Why is it inconsistent? Why can you go to a hotel and get one experience, then go to the same brand and another region and get a completely different? Back to people?
Yes.
Back to people? Or is it more to it?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. I think our world has become so digitalised over the recent years that there's this huge focus on capturing customers, social media engagement and these sort of things. I think we need to remember the core element of what brings people back, and that is the experience and the service at the hotel. So that's the first one. I think the second one is, and this is I guess where our group, where Choice Hotels is probably a little bit different, is that in the majority of our hotels, the people you'll meet at the hotel are the owners, are the entrepreneurs. So they are the ones with the skin in the game on the ground. So their willingness and their engagement into their customers, I believe, is so much more stronger because of that important element. Whereas some of the other larger hotels are hotels that are run under management, for example, that focus and that skin in the game element is not there. And that's the great thing about running a business like ours, is you've got these passionate entrepreneurs that are connected financially and have gone all in typically on their businesses. So I'd back customer service and the experience from that point of view at a property run by an entrepreneur, a small business owner, any day of the week.
Well, Warren Buffett invests in businesses that are still run by families and run by the key founders, and that's one of his sort of his blueprints, I guess. But what I love you saying is you help business people back themselves.
Sure. Yeah.
And the skin in the game element, the ability to invest, own money, put some skin in, is one of the reasons they will innovate. They will try new things. They will go the extra mile. But that transactional nature, service levels that we can get sometimes, in Australia in particular, we go to regions like the Philippines or to Vegas and we get great service. Sometimes we pay for it.
Yeah, that's it.
But the old tipping culture. But with in Australia, it seems like the service culture here is declining.
Yeah.
There's a transactional nature to the way people interact with each other in business.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it all lies on digitisation. But there's something more to it. Why is customer service getting harder to find? We think about the hospitality space. That's really that's a people business. It's a service business. So why are our service levels dropping? Or do you agree with that necessarily?
Yeah, look, I don't know if I agree with that. I think they could certainly be improved. I think at times, the word service in itself has become a little bit unpopular. To serve. I think that is probably something that had more appeal to it years ago.
To serve, okay.
Yeah,
and see, that's not necessarily relevant today with the generational evolution.
The millennials maybe coming through perhaps, but then I look back and I think, what do the millennial generation want? So the young people coming through, things that are important to them are typically quick progression through career. They want they want opportunities, they want leadership, they want responsibilities, probably quicker than we might have done in our day. They want travel, they want different experiences. So when I look at the hospitality and the hotel business, I think we probably have to do a better job as an industry convincing people that this is a career, not just a job, or a job I've got while I look for something different. This can be a career, and it can offer young people, as I said, all the things that they want. Very quick progression, travel, great experiences. It's a portable skill you can take anywhere throughout the world.
Transferable skill.
Absolutely. So I think there's a lot of things that we have as an industry to offer young people coming through. To put my finger on exactly why, that service side of things, isn't probably as embraced as what it once was, I'm not too sure.
Well, the world's changing, isn't it? So that's obviously a byproduct of just things changing and evolving.
Possibly, possibly.
But it is something we cherish, something we talk about, Gordo and him, the customer's willingness to come back.
Yeah.
We come back for service.
Sure, that's
we
right.
can't, particularly in competitive spaces, and that, to your point, comes back to people.
Absolutely.
And backing the right people is something that you do at Choice Hotels. Is that one of the main reasons that you're successful as a business? The ability to back the right people? What else is in the mix?
So we've come a long way in the journey, in the last number of years. So I've been with the business for 16 years now, been the CEO's chair for just on 7. And what I've learned over that time is that we have to spend more time getting to understand the people we're going to business with. Many years ago, we probably looked at the hard product at the hotel, the location, looked at the standard of the hotel, and made a decision more around the product rather than the people we were going to business with. So that's a pretty quick way to be unsuccessful. So
how long did it take you to learn that?
Yeah, well, probably a little bit longer than I should, you might say. But look, we're in a position now where most of our investigation, discussion and conversations are around understanding the owners, what their motivations are, why are they in business, what's the exit strategy down the line? Is it a decade? Is it longer? Is it something they want to give on to their kids? Is it a shorter window? Is it make money over 2, 3, 4, 5 years and then get out? But once we understand what's motivating them, I guess then we can come up with a plan to help them. So we put a lot more time now in understanding what they're about, which is important. We share a lot more about who we are and how we can help. And then the product is there, and that's probably the next thing that we look at. That's got to obviously be absolutely in order, but we really need to convince ourselves that we've got the right partner going to business today with those entrepreneurs. So I think we've become better at that, and that's probably a reason why the business is more successful today than what it's ever been.
Okay, great. Yeah. And that success is what your franchisees are striving for. Correct. You talked about finding the right people to get into business with. That's a great bit of advice in terms of it. And I've had a couple of partnerships over the journey that have been challenging at times. Yeah. So because it is a partnership.
It's essential, isn't it? It's a key.
It is a partnership.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So what do you bring? Obviously, you bring the brand. The power of the Choice Hotels brand, the reputation, but you're also bringing a blueprint, so to speak, to be more successful. So what does that blueprint look like? Yeah,
look, it's a blueprint that's been built up over many, many years. As I said, we've got 80 years of history to draw on, where we've learnt from our mistakes and we've been able to prove ourselves from the successes we've had. Here, our history is a little bit shorter. But we have a system and a program.
So it is the system that is at the core of the...
Correct.
Yes,
yeah.
okay.
So it starts with the brand, of course. It starts with, any of the brands that our franchisees choose. So under the Choice umbrella, we've got the Econolodge brand at the entry level, Comfort, which is sort of that more of a mid-market experience, sort of 3.5 to 4 star, I suppose, from the star ratings point of view. Quality, which is sort of more towards full service, but still in that mid-scale segment. Clarion's full service, sort of more city product. And then Ascend Collection, which is more of a boutique, sort of soft brand offering, if you like, for properties that have established their own unique boutique or historic position in the market. It's a softer brand. We don't sort of do a takeover of their own brand. They can partner with us in the Ascend Collection. So really, for any of those brands, we have a system and a process of bringing those hotels into our group to give them the best chance of being successful. And that can relieve a lot of their time, their effort and their anxiety around how they do it themselves at a hotel level, and allow them to focus on, again, their people and their guests at the hotel. But it's a very comprehensive system. It extends right through training and the onboarding program. We've got a sales team that are out there representing their hotels as well, right around the country, right around the world, I should say, as well. We've got a marketing division in Melbourne too, which is, really driving that corporate umbrella marketing that then they can link into and leverage off. So we've got revenue management, which is pretty much focused on driving increased yield in terms of room revenues through hotels. So I look at it as this ginormous toolbox that we offer our franchisees. Some of them will have strengths in some areas that may not need as much support in that element. Others might need a bit of everything. So it's about sitting down, having that conversation, as I mentioned earlier, and tailoring our offering to them. Some of them might need everything, others might need just a couple of elements of that. Some might just need support from a supplier preferred vendor point of view, and we've got a well-established and highly valuable preferred vendor point of view program where they can deliver goods and services into hotels for far cheaper than what they could buy otherwise, given our size and our scale. So there's a whole different element, a bunch of elements that come into that. It's just a matter of what's relevant to that franchise.
It's multidimensional what you're offering. You're tailoring it specifically to that.
That's right.
That owner,
yes,
that person, based on their location,
yes,
their brand, and their brand positioning,
their
and their background.
Yeah, that's right.
So there's a bit to it. There's a bit to it.
There is.
So I'm trying to simplify.
Not for the average.
It's not, well, Trent. It's not for the average either. So what our listeners, and some of you will be listening to the podcast, others will be viewing us on different social media platforms, including Ticker. What I'm trying to get here is what's the big takeaway for us, and what makes a great business? You're talking about brand is being one of the strengths, is the quality of the brand, the reputation of the brand. You're also talking about, and this is something I talk a lot about myself, which is about the strength of the people, investing in the right people. And you're saying the right people will back themselves and they have skin in.
Yes.
They invest, they put skin in, so they take risks, and they're committed to getting out of their comfort zone, which is growing and trying new things, taking on advice. So I think that's great advice for anyone. And I love the reference, the moments of truth. So finding ways to surprise and delight, which don't need to be extravagant.
Sure.
Simple ways that you can personalise the experience for the customer to give them that reason to come back, which is quite powerful. Some great learnings in that. And at the core of what you're doing is service. For somebody who's, again, our listeners, our people that are watching, they're perhaps working in a business as a salesperson, as an account manager, as a BDM, doing something. Maybe they've got the idea they want to start their own business. I've got this great idea, but I just don't know how to get to that next step, which it sounds like for those businesses that want to scale their hotels, they want help to get to that next step, or they want help to transition to being an entrepreneur or a business owner. For those people that are on the edge, or those people that have taken the leap and are thinking, how do I get to the next step? What would be your best advice for somebody looking to do that, whether it's doing it themselves or working with a franchise model like Choice?
Sure. First thing I would say is to absolutely do their research and go into something that they're passionate about.
Is it passion?
Passion. I think they'd be wise to go and investigate a number of different options in that particular field that they're interested in, and go and maybe spend time with people that are out there doing it today. Because quite often I think the romance of owning your own business, certainly in our business, in hotels, I've travelled to a few, I've stayed in a few, I see the owners there having a glass of wine in the afternoon with a couple of guests. Sounds like something I could do.
Sounds like Aaron over here.
Sounds like something we could do. So I think at times they could get swept up in that, but they don't see, the real grunt work and effort that goes on behind the scenes, the rising at 5 a.m. to make breakfast and closing down at midnight when everyone's tucked up in bed. So there's a reality to it that can easily, appear down the track and burn off pretty quickly. So I think passion is absolutely critical. Do their research, so spend some time investigating if that is really for them. And then once they've made that decision and crossed that white line, go into it 100%. It's like a marriage. We talk about this a lot within Choice. If both parties go together holding hands and work at it 100%, through the good and bad times, because we know there'll be tough times. They're always in any relationship. But if you're prepared to stick at it and hold hands together and go forward like a marriage, then it's got the best chance of succeeding. If one party isn't as committed as the other, so that would be either us or the franchisee going forward.
One party's working too hard.
Correct. It's going to be fraught. So I would say to anybody thinking about coming into any franchise business or their own small business and getting out of the corporate world is to keep those few things in mind, but importantly, back themselves and go at it 100%. And funnily, the businesses that we see, the owners that we see that do that and link up with us 100%, no surprises, they're the most successful franchisees that we've got in the group.
They've been mad not to.
Well, exactly, that's right.
You've got the blueprint.
Correct, yeah.
You've got the blueprint. So some great. So passion
it's another
is an energy. You've got to have a passion. You've got to be willing to do the grunt.
Yes.
The concept of mastering the mundane too. You've got to be able to master the mundane to be able to work through challenges, do the simple things, the things that people aren't necessarily prepared to do and get excited about.
Agree.
Cleaning toilets.
Yes. Agree. All of that.
Whatever it is.
And I think it's important. I did a bit of reading on this recently, and I shared this with the team. There's a book that I read called The Dip, and it's something that I think a lot of people can relate to. And the book talks about Seth Godin talks about periods in everyone's life, whether it's in their career or in their business themselves, even maybe in their personal lives, where things seem to be tracking along well, but things aren't going great, things aren't going terribly bad, but there's a continual period of sort of sameness, I suppose. And trying to avoid the feeling of, falling into a bit of a trough or into a dip, as he speaks about. So I think we can all relate to that. And as I said, the romance and the beauty of small business at times might burn off early days. We talked about that a bit earlier on.
Okay.
It's important to keep that momentum and keep that enthusiasm and that passion going throughout that time.
Keep the fire burning, which is essentially changing things up, stepping out of your comfort zone, trying new things. I think. I know you're a St Kilda fan. Are they in a dip?
They might be in a small dip, but no. Look, I think the future is looking bright for St Kilda. I think the glory couple of years we had in 9 and 10 are. We're hopeful on the upward cycle into better times for the Saints people out there. So yeah,
very good.
But thank you for asking.
Very good. We've got to get into the grunt work, master the mundane, be conscious of the dip. Some really great takeaways, and I've certainly learnt a lot today, and I hope that our listeners and our viewers have taken some value away, and I certainly know they have. So doing your research, only getting in if you're passionate about it. Do your research.
That's the key.
Do your apprenticeship if you need to. Get an experience before making the leap.
Yes.
And again, when you do make the leap, back yourself. Put some skin in, which is obviously time, research, money, if possible, and then you've got to be prepared to do the grunt, which is to do the hard things consistently to be more successful. I think it's fantastic advice for anyone, not just a franchisee, somebody in the accommodation space, hospitality space. So appreciate your time today, Trent.
Thank you.
I know you're a busy man as well, and I appreciate you coming in. And that brings us to the end. So thanks very much.
Thanks very much for your time, Trent. Thank you.
Thank you, Trent. That's a bit weird saying Trent,
it does. Yeah,
it's good though. I like it. It's not for the average. Not for the average.
Not for the average.
You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on social media, YouTube, on ticker.com and boomsales.com. That brings our show to the end, and we'll see you next week.
You've been listening to Not For The Average podcast with Trent Leyshan. Trent is Managing Director of Boom Sales, Australia's #1 sales training and development company. If you'd like to accelerate your own sales growth and profitability, go to boomsales.com.au.